Hey, insiders. Are you looking for new opportunities to license your music? Well, if you are, then you don't want to miss this episode with Paul Wiltshire, founder and CEO of Songtradr, a leading music licensing company today. We discuss some of the many services that Songtradr offers, as well as the mission of Songtradr, which includes the discovery and redefining the value of music, and much, much more. Coming up. Hi, we're back live from Muse Expo here in Hollywood, California at the Roosevelt Hotel. We caught up with Songtradr CEO, Paul Wiltshire. Paul, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
I really appreciate it. Paul, Songtradr is among a new breed of artist rights management. And I want to know, can you tell our viewers exactly, number one, what Songtradr is and who is it for?
It essentially is, in simple terms, eBay for music rights. So it's for anyone and everyone who owns music rights of any kind, so master, publishing, and our platform allows those users to join with their fellow owners. So, for example, if a songwriter owns copyright, they can put up that track and invite their master owner, their fellow master owner. It might be a label, or it might be a producer they worked with. And if that person consents, they can then put that song onto the platform. So we wanted to solve a few problems. The biggest problem, my background is a producer-songwriter, and I was always kind of frustrated at not having a single place where I could put all of my music, connect all of the co-owners that I've always worked with over the years or had worked with over the years, and be able to set it in a place where it could be monetized. And I've had publishers over the years, and I think many writers would share that some have good experiences, some have reasonable experiences, but I think not all publishers have their music discoverable. And we wanted to create a platform where that changed that, but didn't alienate them, so that they were able, so publishers, labels can also participate. It's a new concept for them, but that's where we're looking to disrupt the space.
Okay, what's the new concept for them, that they would be in a platform where their rights could be negotiated or cleared?
Exactly.
That's what's new?
Yeah. First of all, we wanted to empower songwriters and creators with the ability to have complete control over their rights from an independent point of view. But as far as this platform, it offers the users, and we're building it to be compatible as much as possible with publishers and labels and the way they work, where we have several sale types. So the first sale type is a one-fit-all, single-use, perpetual license, non-exclusive. So the user can select that usage, and that transaction can happen immediately on the site. That's not so compatible for possibly music supervisors who look to clear something first, or look to see if they can place that music first and want to know that it's cleared. It's also not necessarily compatible for users who want to vet who wants to use their music and want to see whether it's a big advertising company or maybe a small non-profit. So we have designed a license where they can set parameters allowing the potential buyer to put in the information that is relevant, the term, the territory, the project, and in some instances, the budget if it's a film. And that seller can then review that offer. So the buyer gets to offer in that process. So we've allowed instant transactions as well as negotiated transactions on the platform.
Okay. Where did the idea for Songtradr come from?
I've had a fairly eclectic life. I think it really came out of my initial frustrations as a writer producer, wanting to get more exposure to the market.
So it was just more from your own personal experience?
Initially, I mean, I'm a technology fan. I love the internet. I love the freedom it gives people and the way it's changing the world. And I saw this as an opportunity to change the way things work. And I think it's possible to improve the environment for music rights and how they they are transacted. Make it better for buyers, make it better for sellers. And something a lot of people don't understand about a platform is that we're not a library. We don't own any rights. We don't take any control over people's rights. So it really is, and we're totally agnostic as to who uses it. So anyone can use it. We don't say only you can come in and not allow up and coming songwriters and producers who may not have that exposure yet. So we think there's a place for everyone on the platform.
Okay. Tell us about some of the services that are going to be provided by Songtradr. Is it merely a platform, or is it also a place that is going to shop material or expose material or have material on its site for people to listen and use? Or what are the services you're going to be providing?
Right. So yeah, we are also building a music supervision team, and they're working hard at finding opportunities for all of our catalog that's on the platform. We're also we've just developed a new concept where anyone can come on and curate a playlist from the catalog. Couple of the problems we know exists with discovery is that music supervisors have no time. A lot of buyers have no time, and we wanted to simplify the process. Typing in keywords can sometimes get a result, but it doesn't always get a result. And so we created a platform where music curators could come onto the platform, curate, say, a playlist which is a trailer, a special trailer sounding music list, or perhaps a DJ comes on and curates an EDM list. And that allows the buyer to see peers that have curated lists and discover music from their selection. And it allowed us to have a second way of curating the platform so that discovery is a little bit easier. We have got a very cool algorithm in there that makes discovery through keywords more efficient. But the second way, I think, will be interesting to see how that pans out and who comes on. We share with the curators any income that we receive as a broker. So our revenue model is we take a small percentage of every transaction.
Okay. So, and the transactions can happen right on Songtradr.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's okay. That's what's designed.
Yes, and we've also designed an offline way. So any potential music buyer can come to the platform, fill in a form. It's a very quick process, and if they haven't got time to look for the music but wish us to go look for it, we'll do that process for them. We also have a clearance service too, where we'll clear your music. We will try and clear music that you are looking
for a film or a television show. That's a very valuable service.
We just did a small job for Microsoft once week.
Ah, okay. So you cleared it and got the rights, and so okay, yeah, that's terrific.
Hard work, but
no, I was going to say that's
It also helps us understand so many of the intricacies and the mechanics of and the way different publishers work, different rights managers work. So we're looking to evolve with the industry and, as best as possible, create a system that is compatible with everyone and that benefits everyone. And that's really our core mission.
Okay. One of the things that you state on the site, it says that one of our first goals on Songtradr's website is that it is developed by a team of music industry professionals who all share a belief and vision to redefine the value of music and how it's discovered. And I wondered if you could talk about how you will redefine the value of music, because that seems to be such an important, I guess, there's a much larger issue at hand within the music business culture, as you well know, being a writer, on that very question, on the value of music. So can you talk about how you guys want to redefine that? Because that, I thought, that caught my attention immediately.
So there's a few ways. We like the idea of the music industry involving music lovers and tastemakers. And as I mentioned before, with the curation process where anyone they don't have to be from the industry, can come in and curate a playlist. They might be just someone that they know the 60s really well, and they may been record lovers all their life, and they'll curate the best 60s music that perhaps creates a value that didn't exist before for particular rights, less well-known 60s music, for example. The long-term goal for us is also to expose our platform to investors. And I think if you look at any economy where investors get involved, value increases with volume. So we facilitate a unique sale type on our platform, which is called the buyout, which obviously everyone knows what a buyout is. But for those who don't, it's the sale of copyright and master to a buyer from a seller. And in that environment, we still preserve, the seller still preserves their writer's share of performance royalties. However, they do have the option to sell their music outright in this way. Now, the potential buyers are publishers who can come onto the platform as both buyers and sellers. They can cherry pick from the platform, acquiring rights track by track, as opposed to, say, their traditional model of advancing writers and relying on future creations. It also is an alternative concept for a record label to own both sides and to come into the platform and source the material. Obviously, we need to scale to make these activities a process that comes into being. But there's a number of pension funds that have started investing in catalog, and there is a mentality emerging in the investment circles where there is an appetite for music rights. They're a royalty earning asset. It's a unique asset, but because the industry is so fragmented, it's a difficult asset for investors to really feel it's something they can grab hold of. So part of our future plans is to really work that area. So, for example, a songwriter like myself could come onto the platform and say, well, I want to do a new project. I found an artist I really believe in, but I don't have the funding to be able to do this. So perhaps if I could monetize some of my earlier rights and use that money to create something new. It's a controversial subject, selling rights. And I think if people have the power and control and the choice, then I don't think that's a bad thing. So I think it's when it's abused, obviously, and we're all about protecting rights and giving people a choice. But
it's interesting listening to you say this, because what it's reminding me of is, I don't know if you recall, in 2005 or 6, the IRS for 1 year made there was some kind of thing that related to the creative industries where people could sell, large capital gains and only be taxed at 14%.
Is that right?
But it was only for 1 year.
Right.
It was like this open window for 1 year. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of writers, and I had never heard this before in my whole career, a lot of writers chose to sell their writer's share of their copyrights for sometimes vast sums of money. I know some very famous writers who did this. I mean, the whole thing. And were able to get that huge chunk of money at a very, very low tax rate.
Interesting.
I think like John Oates did it.
Yeah.
Ali Knight,
yeah,
the songwriter. There were many, many more. But it's interesting that, you'd bring this up, because it's the only time that I've ever heard that subject, because it is controversial. Everybody says you should maintain, and yet the whole thing of like the Bowie bonds is very similar to that, where David had to give up everything until that loan was paid back, but he had 10 years to do it.
Yeah.
But it's that same concept of putting that up to sell in relation to raising money.
Yes.
Like a work for hire.
I mean, we love houses that we let go of, and there's lots of things in life we love and let go of. You never cease to be the creator of that piece of art.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think if you're cashing in in this instance, cashing in the future revenue of it. We see the writer's share a little bit differently. We see that as, well, because our platform aggregates all of the owners together, it becomes an interesting purchase because the buyer controls both sides. So they can, the way our platform works is if you sell your track using the buyout, it'll cease to be in your Songtradr catalog and appear in the buyer's catalog. And that buyer can immediately put it up for license. So it becomes a very fluid way of transacting. But preserving the writer's share means that really it's no different to a library transaction, where music libraries tend to take the master and 50% of the publisher's share, and the writer's share is preserved by the writer. So in effect, we really want it to be compatible and work aligned with the PROs in this instance, where they're protective of that, and they should be.
Okay. All right.
Do you agree?
No, I definitely agree. I think that we're in a time where a lot of these things that we're talking about are in a very, very fluid stage. I think in the next year and a half, you're going to see massive changes in copyright law. Yeah. You're going to see, we're basically going to pull copyright into the 21st century. It's been operating from a time of 40 years ago when we were in the vinyl age, literally. That's how we've been operating for the last 40 years, and it doesn't serve the needs or the times of writers and creators today in a way that I think it should be. And I think that's all about to change. So yeah, I think it's a very exciting time for that.
Yeah.
So the future of music placement is with new and innovative companies like Songtradr. So insiders, here's the question of the day. What were the most educational takeaways to you from our conversation with Paul? Was it the many services that Songtradr offers artists? Or was it the mission of Songtradr, which includes the discovery and refining the value of music? Or maybe it was something else that stood out to you. If you have any ideas or experiences that you'd like to share regarding this video, we'd love to hear from you and connect in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to MUBUTV for more information on how to educate, empower, and engage your music career. You can also check out a summary of this episode, everything we talked about, in the YouTube description as well. And if you enjoyed this video, we'd really love it if you hit the like button and let us know what other kinds of videos and types of content you'd like to see on this channel. Hit us up in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.